It's a wonderful spot in our worship time, a beautiful time for a message. Don't you agree? Won't you agree? It's the time when we bring all the children near, a time that is just for the children. Isn't that nice? I think it's nice. I have always wanted to do one of these as old Fred. I just wish that this sweater of mine was a bit more red, but let's make the most of our time anyway. Now that I've started, I'll go all the way. Cut me some slack, I'm just a hack. Let's pretend it's working. Won't you please, won't you please, please let's pretend this is working. Hello, boys and girls. I'm so glad you're here today. I've been thinking a lot about what I wanted to talk to you about today. So let's get right to it. Our word for the day is nostalgic pandering. It's actually two words, and this is really more for your parents, but that is what we are doing right now. The actual word for the children is a much more important word, and that is forgiveness. Last week you were talking about the story of Joseph, and if you remember that, you'll remember that Joseph's brothers were really mean to him. They didn't like him very much, and they ended up throwing him in a pit in the middle of the desert, and then they saw a band passing by, and they decided they would sell him off to these people, who then carried him off into slavery. But that's when the story of Joseph starts getting really good, because God starts taking very special care of Joseph. God protects Joseph and keeps him safe. God gives Joseph an amazing job and puts him in charge of all the food in Egypt. And God gives Joseph amazing wisdom and gifts of organization, and it makes Joseph a very powerful man in Egypt. So powerful that when a famine hit all the world, Egypt was the only one that had any food, and people from all over the world came to Egypt to see if they could have some of that food because they were so hungry. Among those people were Joseph's brothers, those guys that he hadn't seen in years and years. And when Joseph saw them again, he could have been pretty mean to them. He could have taken revenge on them. He could have not only not given them food, but he could have thrown them in jail. But that is not what Joseph did. Joseph decided to forgive his brothers. I hope you'll go back and read the story of Joseph with your parents, perhaps. And when you do, you will see that forgiveness is one of the most important things that we can do as followers of Jesus Christ. It reminds me of something that I said a long time ago about forgiveness.
His name was Dr. William Orr.
Right.
And he said, you know, Fred, there's one thing that evil cannot stand, and that is forgiveness.
So kids, as you can see, forgiveness is a really important word and a really important thing for us to try to do. So I hope that you will go and this week maybe try to find some ways where you can be one of God's forgiving people. And if you can do that, I know that you will make God smile. It's such a good feeling to forgive and forget. It's such a happy feeling, the best you can get. And when you wake up ready to say, I'll try to forgive people today. It's such a good feeling, a very good feeling. The feeling you know when I'll be back, when the week is new, with more embarrassing things to do. And people will say, he's lost his mind again. I will too. Goodbye, boys and girls.